Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca, and in this video we're taking a look at the Nissan Leaf Plus, the Kia Niro EV, and focusing on some of the key differences between these otherwise very similar electric hatchbacks. So I'll put some footage up here. This is the Nissan Leaf Plus, and this is the Kia Niro EV. And if you're after an all-electric with all of the latest stuff right now but don't want an appendage-severing price tag, then these are two of the most sensible electric car choices today. Now they're similar in many regards, but they're also very different in a few others, and so I thought I'd put this together to sort of help illustrate the key differences between these two models. But let's start with the similarities. So Niro EV and Leaf Plus come in from the mid-40s. Both have a maximum range in the neighborhood of 400 kilometers, a little less for the Leaf, a little more for the Niro. Both are 5-door hatchbacks with folding rear seats and the same sort of cargo volume and flexibility that you'd expect of a machine with this sort of size and shape. The Nissan is a few inches longer than the Kia, but most key dimensions are within an inch or two of being identical. Notably, both Niro EV and Leaf Plus are little torque monsters that will whip out of a traffic light in a hurry without making a peep, and that never gets old. So what are the key differences? I'll sum it up and put it to you this way. One of the machines is more upscale to look at, the other is more upscale to drive. Let me explain. So the styling is what separates them starkly from one another. The Leaf combines a sort of sporty techno rear end with a sharp and angular fascia that looks just a tad bit ticked off, but not too much. And from the side, I think Leaf is more faithful to the hatchback shape compared to the Niro, whose body is more crossover-like. And you'll see that in the Niro's tail end too. The lights are larger and more prominent, and the arrangement of the rear seems a little more rugged and adventuresome. And I like how the Niro's EV-specific fascia clearly gives away its identity as an electric car, but I prefer the Leaf's face overall since it looks a good deal more conventional. Your results may vary. But the biggest difference between these two machines becomes apparent once you're in and seated. Simply, Niro's got the more modern and upscale looking cabin, and it leaves the interior of the Leaf looking more dated by comparison. Niro's controls look more modern and cleanly integrated within their surroundings. Probably the best example of that is down here on this center console control panel. That has buttons for the climate-controlled seats, heated steering wheel, drive mode selector, parking brake, and so on, all arranged into this neat little console that falls to rest at your hand and has a rotary dial gear shifter in the middle. And those flush-mounted buttons have a satin-like finish and a quality click under your fingertips, and the metal trim surrounding the entire surface helps make it look sort of like a centerpiece. By comparison, similar controls in the Leaf are arranged in various locations throughout the lower forward dash, dated-looking toggle switches for the seat heaters. The gear shifter and drive mode controls are mounted low and further away from the driver, with multiple toggle switches and buttons mounted just ahead of this round plastic gear shifter puck-looking thing. And I think compared to the Niro, this looks more like a toy. So it's Niro, not Leaf, that makes best use of its controls and the arrangement of those controls to use them as a sort of showpiece that helps pump up the visual appeal of the cabin for a better first impression. And elsewhere, Niro's cabin flaunts smaller and less obvious panel gaps, a more rewarding sense of detail when the interior is inspected closely, and a touch more glitz and gloss to give the driver a richer feel for their dollar. Niro's got the better infotainment system too, more modern looking graphics, I think, and more straightforward operation make that a breeze to use. In comparison, Leaf's system is just as powerful a tool, though the hard buttons surrounding the screen are not quite as logical, and I found the graphics and layout of the Kia's system just easier to sort out from a glance. And that carries on with the interfaces as well. Niro's instrument cluster and its on-screen graphics are more modern, and the meter set is more engaging to use. It looks part race car display, part high-end cardio equipment readout, and I think the digital power gauge will likely become your new favorite gadget. And if you prefer analog, which many folks do, it's Leaf Plus with a better setup. Now this isn't as flashy looking, but the analog speedometer is much less busy to look at than the often flickering LCD style unit in the Niro that always seems to be flashing away until you hit the cruise control. So ultimately, if you're after as upscale a cabin as your dollar will get you, the Niro EV is the way to go. Mind you, it's not perfect, and to me the Leaf had the better overall driving feel. I find Leaf's safety systems and adaptive cruise feel more predictable and smoother in action, while Niro's often seemed too abrupt and sensitive on the highway. I preferred the ride in the Leaf on the badly maintained roads of Sudbury, Ontario as well. With rim-smashing craters at every turn, Leaf's suspension did the better job of keeping things quiet and comfortable while the shocks were under fire. And on most of our worst-case scenario roads, that means better composure and a quieter drive on the sort of surfaces that tended to make the Niro feel and sound more crashy beneath you. Finally, add in the Leaf's more natural brake pedal feel, and you've got the more refined and upscale drive of these two machines. So, a more upscale look or a more refined drive? If you're test driving one of these machines, make sure that you try them both. Although they will appeal to different tastes depending on what you're after, they both amount to really great examples of why me and folks like me are getting really excited to see where this technology is going to go in the coming years. Well, that's about it for this video. My name is Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you never miss a new upload. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and drive safe.